Welcome to Passionate World Talk Radio. Educate, enlighten, entertain. And today on Our Common Faith with Mrs. Ghoulem Berrah, she is going to talk about, do we take responsibility for our actions?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, my friend. Good afternoon, Lilian. How are you?
I am fine. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Good afternoon, my friends. Today, we are going to congratulate our Muslim brother because they are celebrating the Eid al-Adha, which is a commemoration of the Abraham sacrifice. So Eid Mubarak to all our Muslim brother and sister today. Are we responsible for our action? Responsibility for action is a topic common to all faiths and to all human beings. When we start a conversation about responsibility, two concepts are intertwined: individual responsibility and collective responsibility. Those have driven forever endless debate among philosophers. Why are we so reluctant to take responsibility for our action? Since we have consciousness, if anything we do, anything we say is our responsibility. So it's not easy. So it's anything, any movement has an impact on someone or something. So sometimes we don't want to take responsibility for our action. But our society seems increasingly filled with individuals who are eager to fix blame for their own action and failures on almost anyone and anything else: their children, their spouse, their friends, their teacher, their co-workers, except themselves. They are unable to accept their failure. There is an old saying made famous by President John Kennedy: victory has 1,000 fathers, but defeat is an orphan. Most of us resist accepting responsibility at one time or another. This is a human inclination since the beginning of the world. Adam denied responsibility for his mistake. He blamed Eve, and Eve blamed the serpent. Peter, the apostle, after denying 3 times the responsibility of knowing Jesus, repented for his mistake and started weeping. Later, he became the leader of the church. We can acknowledge our mistakes, make the decision to correct them instead of turning a blind eye. It takes courage and honesty. In the Abrahamic faith, individual responsibility is a cornerstone. Responsibility for human beings to take action in order to determine their future and to do the creative best with their life. Love God, love their neighbor. That implies take responsibility for their family, care for their neighbor, and the poor. They will be judged after their passing for their actions. For Buddhism, individual responsibility is a central obligation as well. The quality of our life is conditioned by the quality of our action. And the notion of mutual responsibility is important inside the family. But how do we learn about individual responsibility? Fundamentals of responsibility are taught in our household. Our home is a cradle of individual responsibility. It is paramount for young people to realize that getting married and start a family is the biggest decision and responsibility they can ever take. Have a child means give birth to a human being who is going to be part of society and make a difference, good or bad, depending mostly of what she or he are received and learned at home. Parents are the first teacher. Basic training given by our mom are the first steps that introduce us to the notion of individual responsibility. Remember, whenever our playtime was over, our mom would hold our hand and help us collect our toys scattered all over the place and put them back to where they belong. As we grew bigger, she would ask us to do it by ourselves. If we drop some garbage, she will point out the trash can. She would teach us to cover our mouths while coughing or sneezing and would hold us accountable for our failures to take action. Greeting others, thank you, please, were part of the training. Parents are responsible for the intellectual education of their children by sending them to school, where teachers are influential. All parents are proud of their children's achievements. Look at the pride displayed by families attending a commencement ceremony. Very emotional. But instill in their children moral values is a parental responsibility as well. To be able to provide effective discipline and instill moral values, the parents need to be themselves responsible individuals. Be kind, respectful to others, practice honesty. They are their children's role model, and their impact is a lifetime impact. Instead of being surrounded by an overflow of love and affection, a child who has seen his parents fighting and being mean to each other has no one to utter. But he grows angry and aggressive to protect himself from being attacked verbally or physically. In the case, parents bear a huge responsibility. They don't know if they are raising the future leader of our country. The example of the German Führer Adolf Hitler is a striking one. Little Adolf was beaten on a daily basis by his dad while being protected by his mother, Carla. The dictator personality was shaped by emotional and physical abuse. Look at the dreadful consequences of the Third Reich on the world, and we are not done watching those. Finally, Beside moral principle, parents are responsible for giving their child a chance to have inner life if they wish to forge a solid and responsible individual. Unfortunately, many parents nowadays are indisposed to do so. They make the excuse or they get away with the excuse that they are believers, but they are not a religious person, and avoid teaching their child meditation and prayer. They deprive him or her of the ability to turn to the Almighty and to cope with any difficult circumstances that can occur in their lifetime. It is sad sometimes to meet the highest minds, PhD or more, absolutely lost and upside down while confronting some adversity because they are not prepared. There is an imbalance between their intellectual capacity and their poor inner life. We are all inclined to rejoice when good things happen, but unwilling to bear a cross when it occurs. At least prayer and meditation smooth our pain and help us to go through it and find the meaning on those circumstances. Individual and collective responsibility are interwoven. I didn't give all details of, we have so many details about the individual responsibility. I pick and chose some and what I talk about. But now, individual and collective responsibility are interwoven. Collective responsibility is made, in fact, of a sum of individual responsibilities. We are interdependent because we live in a society. When we understand our interdependence, we grasp the importance of acting with responsibility. For example, in the COVID-19 pandemic situation, all beings are really in it together. Nobody enjoys wearing a mask, but we do it in public because it is the only way to protect others and ourselves as well. We engage collective responsibility in our communities. They play a unique role based on specific needs of the community. But responsibility at the national level is the highest responsibility. It is leaders' responsibility to establish justice and peace in their country. And in all countries in the world, in their country, and we have so many countries in the world, so all countries in the world. But I would like to conclude with in underlining the responsibility of the United States as a leading country of the world to sow peace here and around the globe. We live in a world connected. Within a fraction of a second, we are aware of anything happening on the other side of the planet Earth. Anything happening in the United States impacts the whole world because people love or hate the United States, but no one is indifferent to our country. My late husband, Dr. Ghoulem Berrah, who circled the world 40 times as an ambassador at large, in his memoir, A Dream for Peace, stressed the unique role of the United States. I quote, "The role of the US in finding solutions for the world's problems cannot be denied. She yields such sphere of influence around the globe. All eyes are on this nation. It is imperative that America remains fully conscious of her responsibility, be full of wisdom, and lead by example. In this foundation, we try, the Dr. Ghoulem Foundation, we try to do our part to sowing seeds of peace by cultivating interfaith harmony. That's both our common faith.
Terrific. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you wish to hear Mrs. Berrah talk about her topic based on her husband's two books, Our Common Faith, and what was the first one again?
A Dream for Peace.
A Dream for Peace, which we really need in these coronavirus times. You can see this video all over again on youtube.com/PWR Network LLC _PWTR. You can see it on Facebook Live, soon to be renamed, but facebook.com/Lillian.Caldwell.35. Yeah, hold them up one on top of the, yeah.
This way.
That way, that. Well, okay, just so everybody can see the titles. Great. And you can also hear the audio on iTunes, iHeart, Spreaker, Podchaser, Google, and find it at https://passionateworldtalkradio.com. Thank you all very much for joining us. And remember, stay tuned for next month's commentary podcast with Mrs. Ghoulem Berrah. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening. God bless you all. I wish you the best of the best. Thank you, Lillian, for having me.